Here's the scenario. Your client just called you and said, we need a new website done in 2 days. Does that sound familiar? You know you need a stack of proven technologies. But there are millions of frameworks and stack combinations to choose from. What stack do you pick? If you need to build quickly, reach for Next.js. I know, a lot of you are shouting, boo this man right now. You either die a hero or live long enough to become a Next.js developer. Stick with me. Next is well documented and everyone and their moms know how to use it. Yes, caching behavior changes with each major release, but don't let that slow you down. If you're planning on maintaining this website yourself, go ahead and use COBOL for all I care. But you need to have a plan to hand off the project, and you can't do that with your custom Rust clone of Next.js. If you use Next, someone else will be able to take over with no problem. Sure, they'll spend some time talking crap about the last guy when they inherit the project. But you'll survive. It's the right of every new developer to roast their predecessor. That is, until you become the predecessor. Beyond that, Next is great for SEO for projects that need it. If you're building an internal dashboard, you don't need this. Skip Next.js. But if you're building an over-optimized portfolio site or a run-of-the-mill marketing website, you need to consider SEO. It's easy to add metadata and generate static pages using Next. Trust me, nothing impresses a client more than all 100s on a Lighthouse score that makes no sense to them. Oh, let's not forget to add Google Tag Manager. That way the marketing team can slow down our beautiful piece of art with bloated tracking tags. Performance is for development. Tracking scripts are forever. With that out of the way, we've got to move quick. We've spent way too much time arguing about Next. We're here to move fast, break things, and hope the client doesn't notice. So we need some help with components and boilerplate. That's where today's sponsor... Just kidding, I don't have sponsors yet, but you can support me on Patreon. Where was I? Oh, Claude Code. Claude Code can help with components and boilerplate. Again, everyone is now throwing stones at me. Using LLMs is not bad. Relying on LLMs is bad. I don't need to waste time designing the same footer, navigation, card, and pagination components I've made a million times. Let me hand that over to my boy Claude to take care of. If AI can't replace me, it can at least take over the tasks I don't like. While he's working on that, I can choose a component library like shadcn. I could also start working on my own components using my CSS library of choice. Yes, choosing a component library can make the site look like every other site out there. I'm not painting the Mona Lisa though, I'm just trying to pay rent. With my ideas for components and sections roughly done, I need somewhere to store all of my data. If I'm in a rush, I'm using MongoDB. Not because it's the best, just because I forgot how to use Postgres and I'm in a rush. I don't want to have to worry about pesky schema issues or migrations like I would with Postgres. I just write and commit bad code and it works. It feels good to avoid punishment. The general rule of thumb is to always choose Postgres, unless of course you know why you're not choosing Postgres. But we're running low on time, so I have to put logic aside for now. Let's just choose the road laced with quick hits of false success and dopamine. While developing locally, I can just use local MongoDB installed using Homebrew. We'll worry about deployment later on. We always kick deployment as far down the road as we can. We're not DevOps people. For now, I need to consider where I'm going to store objects like images and videos. I don't want to bloat up my local file storage. Enter Cloudflare's R2. I'm choosing this because it comes with a CDN and a generous free tier. If you know and understand AWS without generating millions of dollars in accidental charges or crashing US East 1, feel free to choose AWS instead. Me? I'm sticking to what I know. R2 is S3 compatible and that's good enough for me. There's another option, but that's coming up in a minute. Now, how can I orchestrate and manage all this data? Payload CMS. This choice shouldn't surprise anyone who knows me. It's kind of my thing at this point. I'm absolutely a payload shill. Either way, Payload CMS fits right into Next.js. It also accepts MongoDB as a database and has an official plugin for S3 storage. It's the perfect match for my quick turnaround project. Payload CMS can be used directly in your Next.js project. You just add a few files and restructure your app folder. There's no extra infrastructure required, no reverse proxies, no struggling with CORS policies. It's plug and play. It simply deploys alongside your Next.js project. It also looks really cool, modern, and hip, and that's super important for us vain developers. I'll define some collections, globals, and reusable blocks to build out my website. Things like posts, pages, form submissions, content with media blocks, text blocks, and more. With Next.js, I'm able to co-locate my block config and component files so I can at least stay organized. Not that it will really matter in a couple of days, but hey, it helps me sleep at night. But no time for sleep yet. I can use REST or Payload's local API to query my data, or if you enjoy pain, you can use GraphQL. You have the flexibility to query your data how you'd like. That's one of the beautiful things about Payload CMS. It's your data, use it how you need it. You may experience a bit of a learning curve when it comes to customizing Payload CMS, but you can do it, I promise. It's just TypeScript, but using it with some basic configuration is pretty straightforward. If you want to stay up to date with Payload CMS and some of the other technologies we've been talking about in this video, I have a pretty cool newsletter that helps you do that. Sometimes I have coding tips in there that I guess are kind of cool sometimes. There's a link to that and a way to support me on Patreon in the description. Great, now the site is built and designed and it works on my machine. We have a pages collection, we also have a blog collection that won't be touched outside of the seed data we put in. The client sent over some copy and pasted ChatGPT website copy that, according to them, is just a placeholder. Hey, I'm not one to judge. As soon as I hand this project over, it's up to Sharon and marketing to update the site. I'm just here for the design. Either way, we put that AI-generated masterpiece into our blocks. Now the whole machine is humming. Now you need a place to deploy the site. I'm choosing, no, not Vercel. Go on, get out of here. This really depends on the client. If they have a DevOps team, your job is probably done here. This is the best case scenario. Let's be honest though, they wouldn't have hired you if they had DevOps. This is a startup that swears they're in between rounds of funding. They can't prove it though. If they don't have DevOps and I'm managing the project, I'm deploying on a Beefcake VPS with Docploy. There's some risk to this though, since I'd be responsible for their uptime. On second thought, maybe I won't do this. I don't have time to watch and guarantee the client's uptime. I need a solid deployment option that can scale with minimal configuration. Let's go with Railway. I can create a project and host my database here too. By the time this video comes out, there may be a CDN with Railway's buckets, which are currently in beta. So you could do everything within Railway and scrap Cloudflare if you wanted to. Then you just hand that project over to your client and call it a day. That's it, that's the stack. Next.js, MongoDB, Payload CMS, a place to store images, and Railway to deploy. You're now the client's favorite contractor because you handed off a complete project on a tight deadline. Now, collect that payment with a rush delivery fee on it and buy something nice for someone you love. It's all in a day's work. See you in the next one. Want to learn more about Payload? Check out more Payload videos by clicking on the playlist on the left. How about Next.js? I've got a playlist on the right for that.